January 6th, 2026. Let's see how many times the strategy came into effect today. We have only taken one trade today with regards to NQ, QQQ, the NASDAQ. And it was this one right here, denoted by this yellow line. And anytime you see a red and a blue, that's not a trade I took. That's a trade I would have taken, that my strategy would have taken, but I did not. You'll notice that this trade right here to the upside, the stop loss never got hit. So today was one of those days where my trade had a runner, and that runner was able to keep going for the rest of the day. That is what we call a blessing, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see how many times the strategy came into effect today. We have the 2-hour data over here. We have the 30-minute data right here. And we have the 5-minute twins right here, the 5-minute extended hours and the 5-minute regular hours. What do we see? Right at the market open, what do we see? We see that both the extended 5-minute and the regular 5-minute are already aligned. This is what you call easy mode. This means you don't have to put a lot of thought into it. On the 30-minute chart, you'll see that we already had upward momentum building, and on the 2-hour chart, we were strong to the upside already. We had a nice upward momentum. So we have 3 higher time frames wherein the momentums are all aligned to the upside at the market open. So as soon as we sold off right here, we had a little bit of a pullback right here. Market opens, and then look what happens here. We get a pop-up on the 2-minute MACD. We get a volume confluence, a volume bar greater than the previous 3. So we enter the trade at the close of the candle. We put our stop loss slightly below that candle. And we target a 2-to-1. So we took profit here. And then we allowed the runners, the remaining portion of our position, to continue running to get more profits. And it never came back. It just went on for the rest of the day. This is what I call a grand trade, where you take a trade, you take profit, and then the remainder of your trade continues to run the rest of the day. I call that a grand trade. So all in all, I only took one trade today, and it was a huge win. And the reason is simple, and it's because of these higher time frames were aligned to the upside, meaning that we had full clarity on the situation. We had a high probability of what was going to occur if we see a 2-minute volume confluence aligned with the momentum. That's the entry of the strategy. It happened. We got a great win. Now, the rest of my trades were not NQ futures or NASDAQ. The rest of my trades were me trading the strategy with regards to shares of other tickers that were sort of in play that I had on my watch list with specific levels. The first trade I took was a loss, and it's because we had a volume confluence right here. Our 5-minute was going to the upside. We had strong upward momentum on the 2-hour chart. So I entered this position right here on this yellow line, thinking it was going to continue to go up. And it did not. It hit our stop loss. So that was a loss. The 5-minute rejecting. The warning sign was not clear. This was just a nice setup in my opinion. Ended up being a loss. And then my next trade was with Navitas, which is a trade that a ticker symbol that has got a lot of momentum and hype behind it right now. We had an upward momentum on the 5-minute chart. The higher time frames had the upward momentum stacked already. We get a volume confluence. The 2-minute MACD is starting to build to the upside. So we took a long position right here on this yellow vertical line. I set my stop loss below the recent swing low. And look at how far this ran. Believe it or not, this continued to run even double this move right here. So I took profit at this first gap is where I took my profit, most of my profits, and then I allowed my runners to continue running, and they kept running a long ways. So that was a great win. My next trade was with AVAV, which is a stock that has got a lot of momentum and popularity behind it right now because of the drones. So it's a drone stock. What do you see? You see the 2-minute momentum starting to come to the upside. You see a volume confluence. What do we have here? We have an alignment of momentum with the 5-minute. Our higher time frames are in strong territory, but they're not ripping upwards, but they're just somewhat strong. So I entered right here on this candle, and this continued to run up for good profit, hitting that first profit target. Good trade right there. Next trade was with Nvidia, which I plan on trading much more as this year unfolds because of how liquid it is. You can get in and out with massive size, $10,000, $100,000. You can get in and out with a lot of shares. So what happened here? I saw the momentum building to the downside. The 5-minute is aligned. Our higher time frames are aligned. This is a quadruple fractal, otherwise known as a fractal 4. We get a volume confluence right here, this big red volume bar. That's our ticket to the downside. So we enter the trade right here. We put our stop loss above this recent high here. Not the previous candle, but we targeted this recent other candle, about 2 or 3 candles back. And this continued to sell off as we expected. As you can see in this image right here, it hit that first profit target, that first gap. First profit target was hit. That was a win. Then there was a pullback with Nvidia, and I traded Nvidia again. Why? We're still aligned with a fractal 4, aligned to the downside on these higher time frames. And then what happens? We get another volume confluence to the downside. 2-minute momentum histogram is now moving to the downside. So we entered right here, expecting another downward move, and it happened. We hit the first profit target, and the second profit target almost got hit as well. So that's another win. And that was all of my trades for today. With all of that being said, I hope you have a good one. See you in the next one.